Hello. So in this video, I'm going to teach you principles from drunk person social skills in order for you to come across as more charismatic, funny, likable and entertaining, all whilst being completely sober. That is the best part. Anyone can do this at any time, and I'm going to show you how I figured out the way to do this. It's so reliable. So for a bit of context about me, I had this concerning pattern of behaviour for many years in a row, all throughout high school and university. I could not turn up to a party before being so drunk that I could barely stand. I was the guy who'd turn up and would just be a complete burden to my friends all night. It's 9 o'clock and I'm already staggering around the room, falling over, embarrassing myself and embarrassing them. And I've honestly, I've been shown videos of myself the next day and they still give me nightmares. Like, if my parents saw these, they'd probably disown me. And I've even potentially ended up in some situations that could have been very dangerous. Like, some of them so bad, I genuinely don't think I could even tell you on YouTube, just for my own sake. But there was many layers to this. There was many layers why I felt like I had to get this drunk. I think on the one hand, most people like the drunk version of themselves better. They feel like they're naturally more interesting and funny and lively. Like, they just have more of a natural ability to mingle with new people. And I definitely felt that was the case. I didn't think the sober version of myself was naturally interesting or funny. I think most people found me a bit boring, or that's what I was thinking. But beyond that, this for me was more about my inability to tolerate being in environments, not just with lots of people, but lots of new people. That represented one of the scariest things, to me for many, many years, just being in this environment of lots of people my own age. And just being so aware of myself, feeling so tense and uncomfortable in my body anytime I didn't drink. Like everyone's watching me the second I walk in a room. Feeling like I needed to take up as little space as possible, just go unnoticed. And also the worst part of this being my friends just seemed so comfortable, being loud and walking into rooms full of people they didn't know and showing their personality. I was always jealous of them. I never felt like I had this natural ability to do that. So I used drinking to compensate for that pretty much. But the thing is, even if I didn't then go and talk to loads of people, I often didn't, at the very least, I felt comfortable in this environment. That's all it was to me. It was, the way I'd describe it is, drinking allowed me to forget myself. Forget my own awkwardness. Forget that usually I'm this quiet kid who can't hold a conversation or eye contact with someone I don't know. Forget about all those things just for a couple of hours, even if I make a complete fool of myself in the process. So, for me, I always felt that talking to people sober was more of a stressful experience than a fun experience. That's the only way I could put it. So drinking just allowed me to feel this sense of safety. And the reason I'm telling you this is because for me specifically, it was this trigger of walking into an environment full of new people. I don't know these people, they might be perfectly nice, but for some reason my brain is scanning the room and determines there is some kind of danger in here. These new people are inherently dangerous. They represent something that my body detects as danger. And this is all about the nervous system. Because our nervous system is our body's natural way of protecting us from danger, not just physical threats, but emotional threats. And it is so advanced that it's capable of storing these emotional memories that come from traumatic experiences. So that any time, anything in the present day even remotely reminds you of something that happened to you in the past, our body kind of shuts down in these situations. I think for me, just to kind of give you like the short answer, I had like a lot of traumatic experiences when I was younger, being judged by groups of people, my classmates, sometimes just getting bullied and feeling like my entire class at school was in on it and they were all laughing at me, all humiliating me. I have some like major triggers from like my school years, specifically around this thing of new people. Also the fact that I moved to a new town when I was 11 and I left behind all my childhood friends and joined this new school. And I just had no friends for like 2 years, just bouncing between different groups, eventually getting rejected. I think some part of my brain, even all these years later, treats new people with like a certain level of like, what's the word? I'm very like hesitant to show my personality around people in case I get burnt or rejected. Fuck, I fucking lost my place. Let me check my notes. So yeah, the reason people drink is because their nervous system is detecting, like maybe people aren't even aware of this, but this is like a subconscious feeling sometimes. We drink in order to loosen up, to forget ourselves, to feel comfortable, less self-conscious, but all of that is dulling this sense of danger that we usually feel. The ability to go over to a group of strangers and mingle, that's not something everyone can do when they're sober. Because that represents some form of danger, they're worried. This could go wrong, I could get rejected, like what happened to me in the past. But when we drink, all of that gets dulled, and we're able to forget ourselves. But what I want to talk about is, we think this is something we can only achieve when we drink. That's actually not the case. We can achieve that feeling of forgetting ourselves, being relaxed, just able to kind of let our personality flow. We're not thinking too hard about what to say. We feel more entertaining and funny. And even if people aren't feeling us, we don't really care that much. We get this feeling of forgetting ourselves. Like, for me, it's this very specific experience. It's when I'm with a friend or family member, someone that I trust, and we're having like a passionate conversation. Just a fun, lively, energetic conversation about anything. A mutual interest. I always tell people, like, the example I'd use is you're playing fucking Minecraft or something, and you're getting on with some like mining in the game or whatever, but you're having some kind of philosophical conversation in the background. Your like brain is partially occupied by the game, but something about that brings out all these creative thoughts, and you're talking with your buddy over a headset about like politics or just life in general, or you're kicking back and making jokes. And in those conversations, where we're feeling our safest, we're not worried about what we're going to say next, what the next 3 topics of conversation are, how we're coming across. Am I awkward? Am I boring? No. Everything feels natural. Things feel funnier than usual. And your natural, authentic personality, who you really are, starts to float out without you even really trying or realizing. And 2 hours could go by and you'd be none the wiser. It felt like 2 minutes. And the reason for that is because you are having so much fun. And with fun comes safety. Fun can only happen in the absence of danger. We drink in order to dull our sense of danger to the point where we can have that fun. But I often find that willing ourselves into a state of mind where we can allow ourselves to have more fun, that naturally lowers the level of danger. For me, and getting to like the main point of this video, the knowledge I want to share here. When we're in fight or flight mode, when we're detecting danger, like it is scientifically impossible for us to loosen up because our body literally believes it's about to die. But the second we lower our sense of danger through one way or another, that's when our creativity comes back, our humor comes back, you show your personality, who you really are. When we're stressed out and feeling unsafe, you are a bit awkward, you are a bit stiff. But for me, what reinforces the danger is this expectation that we've got to be perfect, that we've got to show some level of restraint, that we can't really show who we really are around these people because it sounds kind of cliche, but what must they be thinking? And that comes from this frame, and this is really important, like listen up. That comes from this frame of prioritizing the enjoyment of other people above your own. Even when I'm not going out and mingling, when I'm drunk out of my mind in order to feel comfortable around people, even if I don't then go and start talking to loads of people, there's still this belief in my mind that there's like an expectation for me here in this environment. I've got to entertain people. I've got to show that I'm cool, that I'm interesting, that I can hold a conversation. And one way or another, I didn't believe that I can do that unless I was drunk. But the frame we're coming from here is it's my job and my job alone to make this a fun conversation, to entertain people, to keep it interesting. When honestly, that reinforces the danger because we're almost performing. We're not letting our natural personality flow through. We're stressing too much about what comes next, what we're going to say, awkward silences, all of these things that are symptomatic of that danger. And we're resisting, we're almost like sending messages to our brain. There's something I've got to be scared of here. So really the frame of mind we need to move into from that is, it's not my job to entertain people. It is the world's job to entertain me. I'm going to focus on my enjoyment and no one else's. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to steer this conversation towards things that I want to talk about. I'm going to ask questions, not out of a formality, not out of politeness. I'm going to ask the questions that I want to know about. I'm not going to ask some bullshit question that I don't care about. I'm going to ask some fun, interesting questions that I care about hearing the answer to. And most importantly, I'm going to lean into my sense of humor. If something funny comes into my head, I'm going to say it, bro. If I notice there's some kind of funny observation I have, I'm going to point it out. If I find something funny, if a joke comes into my head, even if no one else laughs, I'm going to say it and I'm going to laugh. We need to step out of that entertainer frame of mind, or maybe not. Step into the frame of mind of entertaining yourself. This is something I like to call play mode. In the animal kingdom, play, imagine like little lion cubs playing with each other. That's something that naturally happens in the absence of danger. You can only mess around, goof around with your friends, experience fun when you don't believe you're about to die in one way or another. But the more fun we try to have, the more we prioritize our own enjoyment. We can naturally lower our sense of danger. Start to convince us. This is not like a logical problem, bear in mind. It's not something we can logic our way out of it, but fun comes from emotion. And this is an emotional problem. Having fun tricks your nervous system. Doesn't even trick it, it just convinces your nervous system. If I'm laughing, then what's there to be afraid of here? I've often said that when you're just out to have a good time, regardless of whoever else is there, there's nothing that could faze you. Like getting rejected, getting humiliated, you roll with the punches. It doesn't faze you because you're already enjoying yourself. And the ironic thing here is, the more you prioritize your own enjoyment, the more other people feel that range of emotions. When you're passionate about something, that passion rubs off on other people. If you're talking about something you love, or you're genuinely having a good time, the law of state transference, you can look this up, dictates that they feel whatever you feel. They will have a good time because you are having a good time. Even if you're just talking about bullshit. Bro, you talk to your friends about nothing. Your closest friends, you can probably have a conversation about nothing and still have a great time. About the most childish, random shit, but it becomes like the most funny, hilarious thing. It's not about like the content of what you're saying. It's about like the emotion behind it. As long as you're prioritizing your own enjoyment, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. So I'm going to end the video here, but not before I tell you about just something new that I'm bringing to this channel. I'm looking to, let's say, help out a couple of guys. I'm going to be doing some free calls. I want to give back to my audience, just help you out with whatever you're going through, whatever social problem. And this is very like low stakes, no pressure from either end. I'm just going to see if I can do anything to help you out. You can come to me with any kind of problem and I will sit and listen and see if there's anything I can help with. So link in my YouTube bio, book a short half-an-hour call in. Again, very low pressure. Let me see if I can help you. All right, take care, man. See you in the next one.